The ideal father. What does the ideal father look like to you? In today's video, we'll be covering so many different areas and aspects of what the ideal father should be and what we should be trying to strive for to improve our fatherhood towards our children and our relationships with our spouse, because it's all intertwined. It's about the family unit. So let's talk about the physical presence of the father. What should he look like? He should be fit, he should be healthy, he should lead by example, he shouldn't be lazy, he should be actively involved in the children's or the child's education, physical well-being, emotional well-being, the child's spiritual well-being, his connection with his creator. This is all to do with physical well-being. His presence should be in awe to his child. It should be inspiring. The child should say, wow, that's my dad there. I look up to my dad. And he will say that through time, depending on how active you are in terms of building your relationships with your children and your child or your spouse. So active engagement, what does that look like? That looks like you're participating in activities, you're being playful with your children, you're taking time out when they want to climb on you and you're busy working, and all of a sudden that they're coming behind you, they're climbing on you, and they just want to tussle and play with you at that moment. Do you give them that moment, or do you just brush them aside? So it's about these types of responses. It's about being alert in terms of when the child comes to you, what is it coming to you for, and also not disregarding your child. It's to be mindful of these sort of things. And this is all to do with the physical presence of the father. His demeanor should be inspiring to his children. This is what I'm talking about. And also to be approachable. There's some fathers out there that are they deter their children from their children approaching them. They're just mean. They're not approachable. They're not embracive. And the ideal father should be embracive. He should be mean towards his children, but at the same time lay down boundaries when there needs to be. There's a time and a place to be mean, but don't make that your dominant trait. Yeah, so the ideal father should have these types of qualities. Okay, so let's look at what his mental fortitude should be like. So I'll give you an example. The ideal father should be continually learning, developing himself on all levels, physically, mentally, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, and relationship-wise. And that includes with the one above, the creator, as well as his nearest and dearest loved ones. And he should also have problem-solving skills. And the way to be good at problem-solving is to listen, to speak when necessary, and listen to understand, not listen to rebuke, not listen to retaliate. You listen to understand. There's a big difference between passive listening and listening just to you'll be waiting for your turn to just answer back. That's not understanding right there. You're listening with empathy, you're listening with sympathy, you're listening to understand. It's all to do with your intentions. And then you're calm. You don't add to the situation. You don't make the situation worse. So if your child is coming towards you with a problem, you're embracing the child. You're listening. You're calm. You're not stressed out easily. This is all what mental fortitude is all about. Emotional intelligence. The ideal father should have emotional intelligence to see, to understand where his child is coming from. To, if his child looks distraught, you're able to recognize the facial expressions, the emotions, the body language, and calm them down, soothe them, and reassure them, inspire them, impact them in a positive way. This is to do with emotional intelligence. You're helping them to regulate their emotions. You're helping them to calm down. You're helping them to be safe and secure, because one of your roles is the protector. And this is where you protect your child's mind and his or her physical well-being. The other thing is you're adaptable. The ideal father must be adaptable in different types of situations and scenarios, because one rule, one condition doesn't fit every single situation. You have to navigate and use what is required. Act accordingly to what the situation needs from you. What does that mean? So if the situation needs a calm and cool and collected person, you have to be that person. Because if you add the fire to the fuel by being angry and reactionary, you're making the situation worse and you're destroying your relationships. The ideal father is calm. And when I'm talking about the ideal father, and I'm going through all of these lists, all these qualities, he may not exist out there, but it doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't aspire to become the ideal father for our children. This is what I'm talking about. The ideal father is something you become, and it's so focused and unique to your family situation and circumstance. You have to be that ideal father for your family. You cannot be an ideal father for everyone out there. You cannot, they just doesn't work like that. But you can be the best version of yourself. You can be the best version for your family. This is the ideal father. Just do your best. You're not going to get it 100%, but it does fall on you to keep evolving, keep learning. If you want to nurture your relationship, if you want to, from surviving to thriving, to have a thriving relationship, you need to work on yourself. And it takes time, and it's a lifelong process. It's a lifelong journey. This is what I'm talking about. Let's become the ideal father. Not just go through the momentum, because if you're going through the momentum of fatherhood, being in a relationship, I'm sorry to say this, it's going to crumble. Attraction is built on you being more attractive intellectually, physically, emotionally, psychologically, and on all levels, spiritually. You're just growing, you're developing, you're excelling. This is what makes a person really, really attractive. It's the qualities. It's the continual growth. So then we have the ideal father must be morally grounded. I'm a firm believer in having faith in the one above, the creator. This is where I'm governed by. My creator governs me. He tells me rules and regulations. He puts me in situations, tests of life, responsibilities of life with boundaries. I cannot transgress beyond those boundaries. And that's all to do with your behavior, how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, how you react to situations, how you treat people. What is your mannerism like? What is your character like under stressful situations? Are you kind? Are you forgiving? Are you able to show mercy? Are you grateful? Are you just compassionate? Are you understanding? Are you also, do you know when to apply punishment and how much to apply it? Are you able to control yourself? Are you calm? This is what morally grounded is all about. What is your connection with your creator like? Because if it's not good, then it trickles down into your relationships. When you don't come correct in the sight of your creator, guess what happens? Your creator doesn't make your relationship any good, because no one's governing you. We need to be governed by a higher power, which is our Lord, our Maker, that puts us in check, puts us in place. Because he's the one who has given us responsibility over our flock. We are the shepherd and we are responsible for our flock. And we need to come correct. We need to be the best version as we can. We owe it to our families. And ourselves, of course, because it's always going to backfire on us if we don't fix up, if we don't mend our ways. Okay, so the next thing I want to go into is, let's look at emotional intelligence. Let's delve a bit deep in terms of what is emotional intelligence about. So emotional intelligence is your ability to connect with your child, and to have a deeper connection with your spouse, with your child. How? By understanding them, by being sympathetic and empathetic. Understand their pain points and not add to their pain, not add to their strain. And what you want to do is you want to gain by how? By listening, giving them the space to be. What does that mean by giving them the space to be? What I mean is listening to them, understanding where they are coming from, what frame of mind that they coming from. Do you have the patience when they're venting out on you, when they're shouting at you and they're screaming at you? Do you take it personally, or do you think maybe they don't know how to deal with it, and they're expressing and they're calling out to me for help because I can't regulate my emotions? I don't know what's happening. I need help to organize my thoughts. I need someone to share this who is able to see through the noise and understand what is really happening, but also be calm. That's a hard thing to do, because sometimes you can get caught up in an argument. You may take it personally. You may react. You may not be able to handle the frequency, the noise that when they're shouting at you and they're screaming at you, especially when it's directed at you. But when it's directed at you, they're really saying, they're taking out on you, but the reason being is because they don't have the answers. They don't know how to manage themselves. So we have to help them. Do you have the patience and the wisdom to be able to do that? This is what I'm saying. So we have to nurture our relationships with our children, with our spouse. And if we don't do this, it's kind of like our leadership is always getting tested by our children, by our spouse. Because they want to know, they want to see if we are the real deal or we just talk. We need to lead by example. We need to encourage independence. What do I mean by independence? We need to coach them. We need to guide them. We need to give them life skills and the reassurance and the encouragement and the motivation and inspiration to be able to handle life's pressures and tests and situations by giving them the tools. You know, we can't always expect them to run back to us when there's